Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kokenauer?
Here.
Mr. Detweiler?
Here.
Mrs. Driscoll? Here. Mr. Harshman?
Here.
Mr. Mortray?
Here.
Mr. Martucci?
Here.
Mr. Renzi?
Here.
Mrs. Sangston?
Here.
And Mr. Pansel.
Here. We can stand for a moment of silence and pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion for the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion for the payment of the general and federal fund bills.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion for the payment of the cafeteria fund bills.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll have public comment for agenda items. We'll have Michelle Mowry for Salwas music. Savas music, I'm sorry.
My fault, it's my handwriting. All right, thank you. First, I am a teacher here, and I just wanted you to know that these are my own personal views and thoughts. I wanted to bring your attention to some questionable proposed spending, especially in a district that's struggling with finances. The ones under professional development, the 3 days of My View Literacy Program consulting for $10,950. This is a new program. Shouldn't that have already been purchased with the program? Shouldn't that have been part of it? And if it's anything like the last training that us teachers had on this, it is worthless. We were there for like a half an hour. The lady talked to us for 5 minutes and had us do our own independent activities that we didn't even have time to go over. It was absolutely pointless. Plus, it should have already been put into the program when you bought it. Our next ones, I'm not even sure how much is allotted for it, but they're under federal programs using ESSER funds. And I know ESSER funds are earmarked for certain things, so you can't just spend it on anything. But I'm thinking maybe there are better ways to spend it. The one does say for elementary students to have school music workshops after school. Doesn't say how much. I'm all for the arts. I'm a crafter myself. But in a school district that's struggling financially, we can't afford everything. And we really need help in our classrooms. Our classrooms are huge, especially like kindergarten, first, second grade. You get 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 kids in there. We have too many kids in a classroom, and a lot of them, they don't qualify for special ed, but they're struggling. So some kind of tutoring or support or something, it would be much more beneficial for our students than an elementary music workshop after school with an unspecified amount. The other one, CAHS after school program. I don't know what the program is. It doesn't say, and it doesn't say how much. I don't know if that's helping them academically or sports-wise or in the art, it doesn't say. But I'm sure they're probably struggling with the same things we are at the elementary level. Huge class sizes, need some support for those kids that are falling through the cracks. So before you vote on any of this, really take that into consideration, that with our limited funds, please use it wisely. That actually helps the students learn. That's what we're all here for. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all we have for agenda items. Moving to athletics, Ms. Sangston.
Thank you, Mr. Kensal. I have nothing. Mr. Renzi?
I have nothing.
All right, then. Sorry, I had the wrong one. I wondered what I thought. Request approval to award spring sports supplies and equipment to the lowest responsible bidder meeting specifications. And I so move.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval of the following supplemental resignations. Jason Vandermeer, varsity first assistant track coach. Nick Keller, varsity assistant track coach. Justin Haynes, varsity assistant football coach. We have 2 add-ons, Paul Michaels, junior high baseball head coach, and Robert Renzi Jr., junior high baseball assistant. And I so move.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval of the following supplemental contracts for the 23-24 school year contingent upon receipt of a signed contract no later than 1 month after issuance, including the posting of the position if the contingency is not met. We have the assistant varsity softball coach, Jackie Blocker, first assistant varsity track coach, Jason Burkus, assistant varsity track coach, Howie Metzger, assistant varsity track coach, Sierra Jones, JV baseball coach, Greg Fisher, assistant middle school track coach, Megan Stanstick, assistant middle school volleyball coach, Rylan Musgrove, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
This is the list of volunteers: Kathy Killen, middle school volleyball; Tom Province wrestling; Charles Jesco wrestling; Clint Richter varsity track; Nick Keller varsity track; and Ellison Kelly softball. And I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval for Richard Evans, Athletic Director, to attend the Pennsylvania State Athletic Directors Association 56th Annual Conference, Hershey, PA, Tuesday through Friday, March 19th through March 22nd, 24, at an approximate cost of $900 in accordance with the district travel policy. And I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Now that's all I have. Mr. Renzi.
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Martucci.
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Evans. That's all we have, Mr. Sandella. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sexton. Moving to buildings and grounds, Mr. Detweiler.
Alrighty, thank you, Mr. President. Under custodian hiring, I'd like to request approval to hire Jesse Smith as a 4-hour custodian effective January 18th, 2024, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to also request approval to hire Wayne Mesner as a 4-hour custodian effective January 18th, 2024, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to also request approval to purchase a 2024 Ford cargo van from John Megan Ford through the Cooperative Purchasing Program, CoStars, number 025-203, at a cost of $53,333.75, and I so move.
Question. This, that we're purchasing, is this, do we have a trade-in value? This is the first I'm hearing about this, that we even needed a van. And is there something wrong with the other one?
Trade in on what?
Is there something wrong with the other one or what? This is the first I'm hearing about it though.
So
That we need one.
yeah, so I believe, no fault to anybody in the past, but this is going to actually be a deal where the IT department is going to end up pushing some money over out of their funding to buildings and grounds, get the actual vehicle they need this time so that we can stock it up with the correct IT materials. Instead of driving food service around with rusted out bottoms, they're going to get a new van there. And the van that is used, that Mr. Ghost has now, that's constantly being confiscated from him, is going to be more like an admin vehicle that they can use. So it's going to spread out across a bunch of entities.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Need a second on this first before we had a question.
Second.
All right. Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to request approval of the Johnson Controls Fire Protection LP Service Agreement renewal for the senior high school for December 1st, 2023 through November 30th, through 2024 at a cost of $9,374, and I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Facilities utilization, I'd like to request approval of the following events and building usage requests, and with no questions or discussions, I'd like to have 1 through 9 spread, and I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Door lock installation, I'd like to request approval of the installation of door lock at the senior high school by Fox Specialties LLC at a cost of $11,182 to be paid from the Fayette County donation, and I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I'd like to also, he didn't want any recognition, but DA Richard Bauer, before he left, he did offer up that $30,000 that he had laying around for us for security, so we really appreciate it. With that, I will go back to Mr. Kokenar. Do you have anything?
No, thank you.
Mrs. Sangston?
Nothing, thank you.
I believe Mr. Kirsch is out on an emergency, so Mr. Bigham. All righty, thank you, sir. That's all we have, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Detweiler. Moving to Carnegie Free Library, Mrs. Driscoll.
I did attend their meeting last week, and really isn't much to report other than they are looking for an employee to help with. A few people are going to be out with some surgeries and whatnot, so they are looking for help there. And other than that, there's not much else to say.
I have nothing, thank you.
Mr. Bartry, do you have anything?
Nothing,
to add?
thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Driscoll. Moving to Carnegie Area Career and Technical Center, Mr. Kokenauer.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. We have nothing. Mr. Detweiler,
I have nothing, sir.
Ms. Sangston,
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. McLeod.
Yeah, actually, I do. The amount of the supplemental equipment grant that I spoke to you guys in the background is $61,215. It was released in December. I just got that information from our business management system.
That's all we have, Mr. Panzella. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kokenauer. Moving to Curriculum, Mr. Martucci.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. Request approval of the 2024-2025 Connell Area High School Course Handbook. I so move.
Second.
A motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval for the Connellsville Area Middle School course prescriptions for the 2024-2025 school year, and I so move.
Second.
A motion is second.
Questions?
Question?
Changes on our, for next year for either building?
middle school?
Either one,
For what?
either building. Is there any major changes?
A few things. M2, we approved that last year, we just have that change stays the same, it's just the progression of that one. We dropped endocrinology and neuroscience. CPAs is going to be weighted like the other CP courses that are offered. We changed the name of genetics to genetics for forensics. The business department is going to offer a yearbook internship and a broadcast media operations and a production internship.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to purchase 12 teacher 10 packs of TI Inspire CX2 graphing calculators at a cost of $17,088 to be paid from ARP ESSER ATSI funds, and I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to the agreement with Savvis for 3 days of MyView literacy program, consulting at a cost of $10,950 to be paid from ARP ESSER learning loss set aside funds, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Question,
Question?
could we set this aside until we get some more information on this, whether it is duplication or should they have done this prior?
There has been 2 training days at each building. We have a 3rd training day at Springfield. In the original RFP, when they provided training days, they gave us 9. So we wanted to make sure that all buildings got at least 3 training days with the implementation of elementary ELA curriculum, which is a huge implementation. So we wanted to see if we could get 3 more days so that all the buildings had 3 days. So this is an ongoing piece to what we've already done.
So it's ongoing, so every month we may have to incur another $10,000?
This is the last one I would be asking for this particular training.
Thank you.
Motion is second.
Question?
I have a question.
Question?
Can you tell us what the training is actually going to be on? Which schools are getting it and what would it be on?
All 4 elementaries are provided training when we adopt new curriculum. In this particular case, all 4 elementary buildings have already received 2 days. Springfield got the extra day we had already in the package, and we are trying to make sure that the other 3 buildings get a day of the ongoing training. So when the people come in, they can do it in a variety of ways, depending on, they work with the principals to come up with a plan. So they'll either come in and meet with grade levels as needed, or they can go in and actually support the teachers in the classroom if they feel they need that support.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Roll call.
Mr. Kokenauer?
Yes.
Mr. Detweiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Driscoll?
No.
Mr. Harshman?
No.
Mr. Martray?
No.
Mr. Martucci?
Yes.
Mr. Renzi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sangston?
Yes.
And Mr. Panzella?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Mr. President, the reason I'm voting no on this is because I think we spent over the last...
Well, that's okay, Mr. Martray. We don't need to know every time why you need to vote yes or no. We just vote and move on.
Excuse me?
We're going to move on.
What do you mean you're going to move on?
We don't need you to have an explanation
I'm an
every
elected
time.
official. I have a right to
Well, we
speak my
don't, we don't
mind.
need one every
You can't
time.
shut me down like that. Done enough of the years.
Mr. Detweiler, you have
That's
anything?
my freedom of speech around here, I think.
Mr. Detweiler, you have anything?
That's what I was elected to do.
I have nothing, sir. Mr. Renzi? Nothing, thank you. Dr. Coons?
I have nothing.
Thank you, Ms. Manzella.
Thank you, Mr. Martucci. Moving to cyber, Mr. Martray.
We have nothing. Mr. Driscoll, do you have any, Mrs. Driscoll?
No.
Mr. Harshman?
No.
Mr. Gomes? Nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Martray. Moving to federal programs, Mr. Harshman.
Thank you. Item 15A, Box lights. Request approval to purchase 6 box lights, 75-inch, 4K interactive flat panel from Ford Office Technologies at a cost of $16,878.32 to be paid for from the ARP ESSER funds, ATSI funds. And I so move.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Roll call.
Mr. Detweiler?
I abstain.
Mrs. Driscoll?
No.
Mr. Harshman?
Yes.
Mr. Martray?
No.
Mr. Martucci?
Yes.
Mr. Renzi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sangston?
Yes.
Mr. Kokenauer?
Yes.
And Mr. Panzella?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 15B, CAHS after-school program. Request approval to provide after-school programming at the Connellsville High School with costs to be paid from the ARP ESSER funds after school set aside. And I so move.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed?
Roll call.
Mrs. Driscoll?
I say no. I'd like to know more about what you did and give me that question.
Mr. Horstman?
No.
Mr. Martre?
No.
Mr. Martucci?
Yes.
Mr. Renzi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sangston?
No.
Mr. Kokenauer?
Yes.
Mr. Detwiler?
Yes.
And Mr. Panzella?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 16C, after-school elementary music workshops. Request approval to provide after-school music workshops for elementary students to be paid for from the ARP ESSER after-school set-aside funds. And I so move.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Roll call.
Mr. Marshman?
No.
Mr. Martre?
No.
Mr. Martucci?
Yes.
Mr. Renzi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sangston?
Yes.
Mr. Kokenauer?
Yes.
Mr. Detwiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Driscoll?
What's that? She didn't hear you.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. And Mr. Panzella?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Mr. Renzi?
Yeah, I want to add that just one thing. For those in the audience or those watching on TV, you hear a lot about the Art Fester Fund. Just want to say what that is. That's federal money that we receive that we have to use for education by September 30th this year. If we don't use that money up for things we need, we lose that money. That's not coming out of our regular budget. Thank you.
I'd also like to add that we had that money for 2 years now, and all of a sudden we're getting down to the 11th hour, and we need to spend it. That's all I have, Dr. Koontz.
I've tried to get it put into, over the last 3 years, trying to get some extra help for these kids in these buildings too for recovery, and that hasn't happened.
I think the federal guidelines told us how much and what we can spend it on and gave us criteria of what we could do. We did spend some on it that we were allowed to spend, but we were only allowed to spend certain amounts for certain things, and you couldn't go over the threshold, if I'm not mistaken.
But why are we waiting till the 11th hour to spend this money?
I think we've been spending for 2 years.
We've been spending it over.
Go back and look at your art every month.
After-school elementary music workshops, we have spent it on that before?
That's a new one, but yes, we've been spending over time. We have been spending over time.
Overtime for music workshop?
And
Not
this is a
music,
new-
this is a new item, it could be
Thank you, that's all I
attributed.
asked. That's all I have. Mr. Martucci? That's all I have, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harshman. I believe that was added, that's why I think that, that's why we're allowed to spend it. Moving to finance, Mr. Renzi?
Thank you, Mr. Panzell, I forgot your name. Request approval of the attached requisition orders and to authorize district business office to process orders and payments, and I so move.
Second.
A motion to second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Request approval of the following donations from the, for the Connellsville Area Musical Club. From the Connellsville Mozart Musical Club for $100. from Armstrong Musical Sponsorship, $2,500, and additional Armstrong program and advertising, estimated value at $10,740. To the Collinsville Chorus Club from the Rotary, $200. To the Collinsville Prom Committee, we have Sarah's Crystal Creations for $190, Fox's Pizza Den for $175. To the Collinsville Bible Club, we have Denny Field for $500 in memory of Hayden Field, Jason and Amy Riccio for $100, Stacy Weaver, $50 in gift cards, Mickey Richter, $20, Cecilia Driscoll, $215 in gift cards and food items, Kristen Small, $20 gift card, Michelle Bunny, $40 in gift cards and food items, Peter Taylor, $20 in gift cards and food items, Ron and Roxanne Duke, $45 in gift cards. Tom and Vicki Nicelonger, $45 in gift cards and food items. Jane Martin, $40 in gift cards. Holly Patterson, $25 in food items. And Teens for Christ, $100 in gift cards. And an anonymous donation, $40 in gift cards. To the CACTC from Culinary, we have the Rotary Club of Connellsville for $200. And for auto collision, we have Painter's Choice, Student Shop Search, valued $250. And I so move.
A motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval of the PSBA Better Unemployment Compensation System Basic Program Agreement for coverage from January 1st, 2024 through January 30th, 2025 at an administrative fee of $4 per employee as proposed, subject to the Collinsville Area School District standard term and conditions for the purchase of goods and services. And I so move.
A motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Detweiler. Mr. Kokenauer. Mrs. Routson.
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
That's all I have, Mr. Panzella.
Thank you, Mr. Renzi. Moving to food service, Mrs. Sangston.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. We have nothing. Mr. Martre?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Kokenauer?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Trimpanoff?
Thank you.
Are you done?
Wow.
That's all we have.
See that? Every month you had a big thing, so you know, you figured.
We were waiting for it. We were waiting for it. Come on. You let us down. I'm like,
It'll be double next month, trust me. Moving to personnel and review and liaison, Mr. Renzi.
Thank you. So Mr. Panzella, is it? Request a conditional approval contingent upon successful submission of screening and background checks of the following addition to the support personnel substitute list for the 2023-2024 school year. Amy Huff, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request a conditional approval contingent upon successful submission of screening and background checks of the following addition to the professional substitute list for the 2023-2024 school year. Rachel Grimm for math, Kristen Steffel emergency, Scott Nemeth emergency, Madeline Briner emergency, and Savannah Clark math, and I so move.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to accept the resignation of Rebecca Nicolo, aide, effective December 11, 2023, and I so move.
second.
The motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to accept the resignation of Jeanette Wadsworth, aide, effective January 12, 2024, and I so move.
Second.
The motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to accept the retirement of Douglas Kosisco, maintenance, effective March 25th, 2024, and I so move.
Second.
The motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval of the following long-term substitute teachers for the 2023-2024 school year. Melinda Smith, effective December 11th, 2024, for the remainder of the 2023-2024 school year. Rachel Grimm, effective January 15th, 2024, for the remainder of the 2023-2024 school year. And Jay Novak, effective January 15th, 2024, for the remainder of the 2023-2024 school year, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to hire the following professional employee effective January 18th, 2024, in accordance with the collective bargaining agreement for the Connellsville Area Education Association. Grace Dowley, certified school nurse, Springfield Clifford M. Pritz Elementary, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to hire the following substitute aides effective January 17, 2024. Colby Colbert, Bonnie Lindsay, Rebecca Schultz, and Morgan Nutter, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
The following sabbatical leaves are confirmed by the board. Lisa Evans, teacher, second semester 2023-2024, and Stacy Hicksonbaugh, teacher, second semester 2023-2024, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
The following Family and Medical Leave Act leaves are confirmed by the board. Trudy Steyer, monitor, effective December 22nd, 2023, intermittently for the remainder of the 2023-2024 school year. Amy Rummel, teacher, effective January 10th, 2024, intermittently for the remainder of the 2023-2024 school year. And Michelle Mattis, aide, effective January 8th, 2024, intermittently for the remainder of the 2023-2024 school year, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval of release time for Margaret Rockwell, ESB Region Officer at Large, with the cost to be reimbursed by PSEA as follows. March 1st, 2024 ESP Board of Directors meeting, March 22nd, 2024 NEA ESP conference, and April 17th to April 19th, 2024 ESP Regional Board of Directors and House of Delegates, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to hire Luke Warwick as a maintenance employee on a 6-month calendar day probationary period at a rate of $22.73 per hour in accordance with the Connellsville Area Custodial Maintenance Education Support Professionals Association Collective Bargaining Agreement, subject to assignment by the administration and satisfactory job performance effective upon release of present employment, and I so move.
Second.
The motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to accept the resignation of Joseph Shire, JROTC, effective February 28, 2024, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Delwilder.
Just like to wish Mr. Casella a happy retirement, a much-deserved one. I think we could all agree that Doug can fix anything in this district, he's going to be missed. That's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Martucci.
No, sir.
Mrs. Kokenar. Thank you. Mr. Evans.
Nothing else.
That's all we have, Mr. Panzella. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Renzi. Moving to policy and legislative, Mr. Martret.
Thank you, Mr. Panzell. Before I start reading, these will be our first readings on the following policies. So if any board member would like to have a copy, please see Mrs. McWilliams, and she'll give you one for our next meeting in February. 19B, our first reading is 011, Principles of Governance and Leadership. Re-adopt this one, and I'd like to have that placed through. I'm sorry, make a motion on that. I just think I'm going to read all of these, and then we'll make a motion at the end. How about that? 610, purchase subject to bid quotation. 611, federal fiscal compliance. 200 AR enrollment. 200 AR-3 enrollment classifications. 201, admission of students. 202, eligibility of non-resident students. 202 AR-0, non-resident students. 217, graduation. 217 AR-0, graduation / commencement. 815, acceptable use of internet, computers, and network resources. 815 AR-0, user agreement. 815 AR-1, request to temporarily adjust internet blocking filtering. 815-AR-2, request to adjust internet blocking filtering for non-prohibited. 815 AR-5, use of internet, computers, and network resources. 236 AR-0, student assistance program. 819.1, suicide awareness prevention and response. And A19AR-0, suicide crisis intervention and response guidelines. And I so move. Oh, we have one addition, 254, additional opportunity for military children, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Mrs. Driscoll, you have anything additional?
No, thank you.
Mr. Harshman?
Nothing, thank
Mr.
you.
Evans?
Nothing else.
That's all we have.
Thank you, Mr. Mortray. Moving to safety and security, Mr. Martucci.
Thank you, Mr. Manzella. I have no agenda item at this time. Mrs. Driscoll.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Mrs. Sankster.
Nothing, thank you.
Orlak. That's all, Mr. Manzella. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martucci. Moving to special education, Mr. Harshman.
We have nothing. Ms. Driscoll?
I have nothing. Thank you.
Mr. Martray?
Nothing, thank you.
That's all we have, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harshman. Moving to student services, Ms. Driscoll.
22A, Maxim, request approval of the educational institution agreement between Maxim Healthcare Services and the Connellsville Area School District for healthcare providers at a rate of $65 per hour effective January 4th, 2024 for the subject of the Connellsville Area School District standard terms and conditions for the purchase of goods and services. And so move.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
22B, 2024-2025 school calendar. Request approval of the 2024-2025 school calendar, and I so move.
Second.
A motion and a second. Did we pick one?
I was going to ask the same question.
Yeah.
Is it one or two?
Option 2.
Two.
Is that the done earlier? Okay. A motion and a second, and we did go with option 2. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
22C, supplemental contract. Request approval of the following supplemental contracts for the 2023-2024 school year contingent upon receipt of a signed contract no later than 1 month after issuance, including the posting if the contingency is not met. This position will be prorated for the remainder of the 2023-2024 school year. High School Student Council Advisor Adrian Jordan Agnott, and I so move.
A motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
22D, volunteer. Request approval of Mario Woods, volunteer indoor winter guard instructor, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
22E, travel. Okay. Request approval of the following travel, 1 through 6, and I so move.
Second.
Oh,
1
wait a
through
minute.
18.
Hang on, we got 1 through 18. I apologize, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and that's all I have. Mrs. Sangston,
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Coconut, and Mr. Domingo.
Thank you, Ms. Driscoll. Moving to technology, Mr. Detweiler.
Alrighty, thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to request approval to purchase a 10,000 lumen projector and 32:1 ultra short throw lens for the high school auditorium from Gov Connection at a cost of $18,870 per PEPM pricing, and I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to request approval to renew the fiber service agreement with LHTC for Springfield C&P Elementary for the 2024 to 2034. Is that a 10-year agreement? Nice. School year per E-rate guidelines at an annual cost of $6,575.58, subject to the Connellsville Area Electric Standard Terms and Conditions for the purchase of goods and services, and I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Does that price stay the same for 10 years? You are a good negotiator, my man. That is a great deal. I'd like to request approval to purchase an HP ProLine DL380 server from Gov Connection at a cost of $11,499 for PEPM pricing, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Mortrey, do you have anything? Mr. Harshman?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Ghost?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
That is all we have, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Detweiler. Moving to transportation, Mr. Coconut.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. I request approval of the following age additions to the bus van drivers list for the 2023-2024 school year. John Mitchell, E.W. Colburn, Sandra Darby, and Mark Vittori, Joseph Konecko, and I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr. Panzella. Mr. Martuzzi.
No, sir.
Mr. Renzi.
No, sir.
Mr. Evans.
Nothing, thank you.
That's all we have, Mr. Panzella. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coconut. Nothing under President's report. Next we'll go to public comment for non-agenda items. We have Beverly Cuneo, curriculum.
I can't see very well.
You can take that microphone out.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. I just want to bring it to your attention that I did call the Department of Ed about a really bad situation that happened last Friday in a third grade classroom. And the gentleman I talked to told me to make sure that the principal knew about it, the superintendent, Mrs. Coons, and I have talked to several board members about it. This is besides the time I've called Mr. Martusti, Mr. Panzella, about something else. I, as a grandparent in this school district and taught for 35 and a half years in this school district, I think this is a really bad choice of teaching. There has to be a curriculum for our elementary school students. I did call Mrs. Coons up, and she is giving me the curriculums, and I want the curriculum for all of third grade. And the judge told me from the state, each and every one of you should also have the curriculums for the elementary, as well for junior high and high school. The thing of it is, in third grade, science and social studies, we don't know what's going on. We have no idea. We don't even have grades to see where the children, or my grandchild is even at. His mother is here, she can vouch for me. I'm just very upset about it. And somebody needs to hear me about it. So I would like to have Mr. Renzi, Mr. Martucci, and Mr. Detwelder speak with me privately when I could set up a time, all right? Because I think this needs to be dealt with. And the curriculum, why we don't have the coach books in our elementary program is beyond me. We now have a third grade teacher that is out, and we have a substitute in there. And is he going to know how to teach the math for PSSA when our scores are already so far below average? And why aren't we even having any help, after school help? When I taught school, we had after school help. We were able to bring the kids in and really work with them. And we're spending all this money. We spent, over $500,000 on this new reading series, but yet we can't spend some money on the coach books, reading and math coach books for these kids. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, we're spending money for our music after school program when we could be spending money on some tutoring. And it isn't just for my grandson, it's for all the children in the Causeway Area School District. Where are they getting the math open-ended questions? How are they going to know how to do these tests? The reading tests are difficult. You have to be able to explain in detail, and the children aren't going to be able to do this. How are they taught if they're not practiced?
I forgot to tell you, it's 3 minutes, but you have a minute left.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I said everything, but I just wanted to make sure about some of the relief funds should be able to buy maybe some coach books or get somebody in there to help teachers know what the open-ended questions are and math. I'm just we're disgusted. Many teachers are too.
Thank you. That's all. That's all we had for non-agenda items. Assistant to Superintendent.
Kindergarten registration is going to be held March 5th through the 8th. Each elementary building has a different day. If you have a child who you need to register for kindergarten, please call the corresponding elementary building to make an appointment. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Evans?
I just want to take a second to recognize our school board, as January is School Board Appreciation Month. In front of you is a small plaque thanking you for your service and countless hours volunteering to help our school district. Thanks again. That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Manzella?
Yeah.
I have one thing with the Miss Cuneo problem. I was wondering if Dr. Koontz and the curriculum committee could get together with her and see what we can do about the problem.
I think that's what she just asked in her 3 minutes.
Pardon me?
That's what she just asked.
Yeah, I was just asking if we can do it. You know, okay.
I think they already said yes.
I think that's what she's asking, is for this. That's all I have, thanks.
Motion to adjourn?